Grandparents and grandkids who want to create a stronger connection are turning to a surprising place, social media. That's where Cox Communications and their Grandstories campaign comes in. And Larry, one of the grandpas who shared his story, and producer Carlin Quick, join us with a look. Nice to have you both.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, great to be here.
What an exciting project. So first we'll start with sort of an obvious question, but how has technology affected the way that we communicate?
Yeah, I mean, it's made it a lot more frequent and more real time, and it can be great. I think for families that are separated by states or don't have enough time to talk to each other, it can be a way to really stay in touch like every single day, but it's always changing. So there can be gaps there, and in some ways can make communication more difficult if you're not on board with it.
Right, and what's fascinating too is how it's cross-generation now and how that's helping the older generation connect with the younger generation, vice versa. So talk about how that's changed these days.
Well, I think younger people have grown up with it their whole lives. I'm 33 years old and I haven't even grown up with it. I didn't have social media when I was in high school. So, it's vastly different now than it was when, Larry was a young person and even when I was a young person. So the vocabulary alone can be difficult to grasp or understand, and for senior citizens or grandparents in this case, they can feel a bit disconnected from their grandkids or younger people if they aren't able to talk with that same language and get on technology and social media and, be a part of the conversation.
And Larry, let's talk about how you have felt being able to connect a little bit better with, say, your granddaughter over social media and what your experience has been like with that.
Well, I've always had a good relationship with my grandkids, and I always said if I could make a choice of having a grandchild first, I would take it because I've enjoyed being a grandparent, and I still do. And so anyway, this has revolutionized our relationship and made it more meaningful. We've talked about things that we never mentioned to each other before. They had no idea how I met their grandmother, how I fell in love with her, how special she was. And so this has been exciting for me, and it's made me feel alive again.
So no doubt you encourage other grandparents who may have been hesitant to join in on the social media thing to do it. What word of advice would you give them?
Don't be afraid. Absolutely jump on it and take advantage of it, because it's a wonderful thing that we have today to reach out to one another. So I'm so grateful. I want others to be as well.
Right, and oftentimes it's a lot easier than people might think it is to jump in and use these platforms. And so it's all part of the Grandstories campaign that Cox is running. I think it's definitely going to open a lot of people's eyes to the possibility. So thank you both so much for joining me and sharing this great project.